All right, we are going live. It is Sunday night. It's nice to see you again, Abby. Welcome back.
Yep.
We've missed you the last couple of weeks. We're doing KloobySnacks, of course. This is KloobySnack number 42, and we're in a brand new section, the integrity flavored section. So this is the first time you're here for a snack out of the integrity flavored Baker's Dozen. So
Yeah.
I'm curious. Well, first of all, I'm curious about so many things. Like, how have you been? How are things going? What's it like in New York? You were in Spain last week. Do you want to get us started? Like, share some wins. What's going on?
Yeah.
What's it like to be you?
It's been pretty crazy. It's really weird because I was looking at the date. It's currently the 19th, and I was like, wow, I've been here for quite some time now. And it's weird, but I feel very, very settled in. It's like we have midterms already, which like I thought was crazy. Because it's like I feel like I just got here. And then I went to Spain, which was really fun. It was so crazy because the whole time I was in Spain, I was like, I'm in Spain with one of my my best friends. I was like, I'm in Spain with somebody I met him a month ago, and now we're just like in Spain together. And I was like, this is just so crazy. But it was I had so much fun. So yeah, I've never been to Spain, and and I don't even know, but I feel so settled in here. It's great, and it's like I am so comfortable with like I don't use Google Maps, I don't use Apple Maps anymore. I know exactly where I'm going at all times, and it's like, wow, this is great. I'm settled. I feel still like a transplant. Like I still like have a little bit of like touristy sometimes. I'm like whatever, but I feel very, I don't know, it's just weird. I've been living here for over a month now, like well over a month, and it's like, this is crazy.
Crazy. It's an accelerated thing for you because like the people that you're meeting, the people that you're hanging out with, you're all going through something very special together. You know, you've seen, you know, the friends that I've been able to keep from when I was in the dorms, or friends that your mom has been able to keep since she was in the dorms. And those early college years, it's not so much the amount of time, it's what you're going through in that amount of time that bonds you in a special way. So it's really exciting. And then like being in New York, like for us, Spain is so far, but for you, it's just a little 5-hour hop across the pond, right?
Well, no,
like
it wasn't.
How long did it take to get there for you?
Well, I had a layover since I booked my flight like 2 weeks in advance, in advance. So I had a 2-hour flight. No, I had a 7.5-hour flight, and then the layover, and then a 2 to Brussels, and then a 2-hour flight back to Barcelona, and then the other time, or then on the way back, I had a 2-hour flight to Switzerland, and then a 9.5-hour flight.
Oh man, you paid the price. Yeah, you paid the price. Well, you know, it's just exciting that you have the world at your fingertips, like that you have all these options, these choices. You get to, you know, like you didn't have to ask us for permission. You're earning your own money. You're making your own friends. You're living your own life. You're making your own decisions. It's really exciting. And all the while, tell me about your grades. How are you doing on your grades?
Really good, actually. But, well, math, we're still deciding on that one. But otherwise, really good. Which is nice because I was really worried about some of my classes. I was worried. I was like, "Oh, this is not gonna turn out well." But I'm doing really good, which is nice. So,
yeah. Well, we are here, to talk about KloobySnacks. We're going to get into it. If anybody's out there that wants to join and jump into the conversation with us, there's the link to just hop into the studio with us if you want to participate in the conversation. But I've got so many. It's like I'm just going to have to call you outside of this little 30 minutes that we have. I want to get into the snack for tonight, number 42, but we didn't get any of your input or any of your readings. I had to read your part the last 2 weeks. So I want to ask you, how do you feel about, the week before you slept through it, right? You overslept.
Oh, yeah, I woke up the minute that you got off.
Yeah, well, I was in Puerto Rico, and we had to do it at a different time because I was flying. And so last week you were in Spain. The week before I was in Puerto Rico. Hey, we're adjusting. It's all good. But I just wanted to ask you: do you want to like go back and as a matter of review? I'll screen share, and let's see here. Let's bring up the PDF. Nope, that's not it. Hang on.
Hello, Coach Jeff.
Oh, hey, Charlie. All right. So can you see my screen now? Yeah.
Yes,
so yeah. So we're in the integrity flavored section, Abby. So I read this intro to the section, and then we started with behaviors, the evidence of our integrity, and then I had to read your part. So I don't know if you want to read your part as a matter of recording or catching up. And then last week, honesty is a strategy, a lie is a tactic. This is one of these snacks that started off in my wording, but ended up in your wording, if I'm not mistaken. And then I had to read your part again. And that takes us to tonight. So before I get into tonight's snack, what are you feeling, Abby? Do you want to go back and review either of those two snacks? Do you want to read them word for word just to have a sense of completeness, or do you just want to jump in at number 42 tonight?
I think we can. I have no problem with review. I'm not opposed to review, but it maybe start with 42 and then we can revisit. Right. Or I don't know. I'm currently on 40. Also, this is my first week with an actual book. So. Oh
yeah, you actually have your book. Good. Yeah, so I got that to talk to you about as well because I sent you at least one other book as well, right?
Yeah. No, you sent me like there's like 8 different books.
8? No.
You sent me The Road Less Traveled. You sent me all of the other road less. The
like further along the road less traveled and road less traveled and beyond. Did I send you People of the Lie?
Yes, you sent me. So you sent me those 4, and then you sent me like 5 copies of this.
Oh, and 5 copies.
My friends have all seen it. So.
Okay, cool. Well, here we go. Are you ready to get into it? Let's go ahead and start with number 42 on your suggestion, accountability. And this is like so core. It's like a very core Klooby snack, right? Accountability will always feel like an attack when we are not ready to be 100% responsible for our own behavior. Abby, go for it.
My dad and I go back and forth quite frequently, both of us trying to prove our own points and counter the latter. Sometimes I forget what I'm even arguing for, but I know that I will not back down regardless. The one mechanism that will always leave me effortless, however, is this exact quote. It normally takes quite a lot to get me to admit my faults, but this Klooby snack does exactly that. Whenever my dad asks me about something I've done, I attempt to turn the blame onto one of my siblings, something stressful going on in my life, or even him. One question easily turns into a debate with me pulling out every stop to avoid being blamed or held accountable, as he'd say. Just as my dad says, being held accountable quite literally feels like I'm being attacked, resulting in my immediate defensiveness and blame placing. I don't realize I'm doing it, and I convince myself that I really am innocent and did nothing wrong. This Klooby snack gives me a reality check, though often unwanted. Could I actually be in the wrong? Am I actually to blame? I reluctantly ask myself. To answer my own question, the answer is almost always yes. Though I hated hearing this Klooby snack growing up, I find myself using it frequently with others. Through the self-reflection it's caused me to do, I've grown to love quoting this, not so much hearing it, however.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah. So yeah, do you remember writing that, and how do you feel about this one? It's always my first question. How do you feel about that, a year later? Because when you first wrote that, it was about a year ago.
I think when I was first writing this, it was in the time of me like coming to terms with the Klooby snack and like being like, okay, wait, like he just might have a point here. So this is like the emergence of me like coming to terms with it, and that's what was like captured in the writing. And I think like a year later, where we are now, I am more comfortable with it. And it does it, and I still, because before I would hear this and it still felt like I was like being attacked. Like every time like you would say this to me, I would like immediately just like get upset because it's like, what do you mean I'm not?
You mean before you moved on? By the way, I'm battling a cold, so excuse me while I blow my nose.
But I'd be like, what do you mean I'm not ready to be responsible? Or like anytime you'd say this, I'd be like, I would still feel like I'm being attacked hearing this, even though like I knew like there was some truth to it. But a year later, I think that immediate like defensiveness has gone away, and that also might be because like we're no longer under the same roof. I don't know. But in general, I do see myself getting less defensive, and even like I have friendships here now where it's like, and I love my friends so much. Like I cannot express it enough. Like I love my friends so much here. And one thing that I've noticed that everybody's really good at is just like communicating over like small things where it's like somebody will be like, hey, like you said this, and like I don't know if you meant it this way, but whatever. Then everybody's like apologizing, whatever. Like everything just gets like talked about like then and there, and then it's like done. It blows over, and like there's no arguments, there's no nothing. It's just like conversations about everything, and I think it's great. And it's like I think like me a year ago, or me even like 6 months ago, would have like not liked that, not liked it, but like if somebody ever told me like, hey, like you did this and like whatever, like I would immediately be like, no, like that's not what I meant. Like I don't like I didn't mean like that, like blah, 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 and get upset that I was being like accused of something. Because in reality, I wasn't ready to come to terms with the fact that like maybe I don't think before I speak as much as I should, or that my tone can be aggressive. And like instead of like acknowledging that, I'd want to just be like, you're in the wrong for feeling that way. But now I don't do that, and I know I don't do that. And every time somebody like tells me like, oh, somebody's coming up the elevator. Somebody was just standing here for like 5 minutes with their laundry basket also. So what's it called?
You're live from the dorms in New York City. It's an exciting time.
Okay. I knew that person too.
Just flash the KloobySnacks. You'll be safe, right?
Okay. Well, every time like somebody points something out about like my behavior that they like, not didn't like, but just like anytime anybody points it out, like I feel now more like appreciative that I'm like, oh, like our friendship means like this much to you that you would like get bothered by this and like to point this out, you know what I mean? Rather than being like upset that like somebody was like asking for clarification on something because my tone came off weird. So yeah, I definitely see a lot of growth between then and now, but I think it is funny reading this, and I don't know. I think I'm funny.
You think you think you're funny? Tell me more about that.
I don't know. I like how in general, like with a lot of the book, I like how a lot of my responses, like you can really hear my tone, and I think that I'll grow to appreciate that more as I like get older and I get to like go back and read this and be like, wow, like this girl had no clue. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, I think that there's a little bit of that you have to be ready for. But at the same time, it doesn't take away from what we've already experienced. A lot of the feedback that we've gotten from the adults that have read this and read your responses is how genius you are, how ahead of the game you are, how insightful you are, etc. I know that 2, 3, 4 years from now, you're going to look back and go, oh my God, I could have, because you're just going to keep evolving. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's a treat for me to see you now, because a year ago I was able, I hope you understand this on some level. I was able to see into the future a little bit and imagine what life would be like for you, what your mindset might be like for you. That's why this book is such a success for me as a dad, or for my mom and I, as parents, right? To make sure that these perspectives were embedded in you prior to getting, right? Like think about the lessons that you learn here, and like the maturity and the coming of age, especially fighting through our tensions, and me taking a stand for being a source of teaching, accountability, and relationship to our word, managing expectations, all of these things that we've gone over in this book. It was like a personal breakthrough for me to have you acknowledge things that you hadn't acknowledged previously. But aside from me just wanting you to succeed in life, wanting, like that's the other part of it, is like wanting to make sure I did my job teaching you perspectives and giving you, some grace and some compassion and so forth. Who's Wyatt? Do you know a Wyatt?
No.
Hello,
No.
Wyatt? Interesting. I don't know Wyatt McCain, but somebody's joining KloobySnacks. So here we are. This is kind of a public situation. Hello, Wyatt. Can you hear me? We're not sure who Wyatt is. Charlie, you're still with us, right?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
All right. So just to reset, we're reading KloobySnack number 42. The KloobySnack of the week is about accountability. And, this is like core to the work that I do when it comes to the integrity game. And, we call it the integrity game, almost like a Trojan horse, because we know accountability will always feel like an attack when we're not ready to be 100% responsible for our own behavior. At other times, Abby, we've talked about the barriers to critical thinking and the barriers to listening, and ego defense is one of them, right? So I'm sure we talked about emotional fight or flight response before in previous sections. And so that's one of the reasons that we know that people are automatically going to have an attack or an ignore, a fight or flight reaction to accountability or being confronted. So it's not just this snack right here, but there's so many others in here. Like every job is an inside job, and the snacks that we had about ego defense and aggressive forms of ego defense. And, we're talking about self-preservation at the end of the day is going to be the first responder. But hopefully as we mature, we lengthen our fuse and we develop a skill set for compassion and critical thinking and staying curious and asking questions, especially when other people that care about us have the courage to confront us or hold up the mirror or ask for clarification, as you were talking about. What else? Abby, do you want to say about this snack? And I'm going to ask you again, do you have any interest in going back and taking a look at either of the snacks from the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, we can. Let me look at them. I'm would be down with revisiting either of the two. Do we have time for?
Yeah.
Want to do one?
Yeah. Well, let's just go backwards. Let's go back to 41 because I think that your reading of this is kind of cute, right? Like I remember last week trying to read it and going, "Oh man, Abby really should be the one reading this one." So as I go back to screen sharing here, let's go back to KloobySnack number 41 was last week. Honesty is a strategy. A lie is a tactic. Go ahead, Abby.
At first glance, a strategy might seem no different from a tactic. In actuality, these two concepts are immensely different. Strategies are long-term approaches or principles that we follow throughout our lives. When we use honesty as a strategy, we're able to create and maintain friendships throughout our lives and establish ourselves as somebody who can be trusted. As a strategy, honesty establishes how you interact and connect with others, incorporating integrity within our words and actions. Using honesty as a strategy means that you're actively committing to the truth. Though there may not be any immediate reward for your honesty, over time, the strategy will repay you. A lie is a tactic. Tactics are calculated, often used to immediately achieve a goal or manipulate a situation. Lying allows you to easily achieve whatever outcome you want, such as getting out of trouble, relocating blame, or protecting yourself. Though lying can be used to easily get you what you want, trust me, I know, in the end, it often backfires. We all know the story of the boy who cried wolf, who lied so much to the point where nothing he said was believable. Then he got eaten by a wolf or something like that. I'm not sure about you, but I'd really rather not be eaten by a wolf. For anyone else who would not like to be eaten by a wolf, there's a fairly easy strategy to ensure your safety. That strategy is honesty.
Super fun. Like we got to the eating the wolf part. So let's go ahead and just be complete. Why not give a read to the first snack in the section? Yeah. So we opened the integrity flavored section with a classic KloobySnack. There's not a single time I deliver the integrity game keynote where I don't voice this KloobySnack at some point during the keynote, and it goes a little something like this: behavior is the evidence of our integrity. Go ahead, Abby.
Wait, I'm flipping the page. Okay. My dad always talks about how people often misinterpret integrity and believe that integrity is simply being your word. Anybody can just say they have integrity, yet the evidence of our integrity doesn't lie in our word. Our word shows our mindset and can reveal how internally motivated or unmotivated we are, what our morals are, among other things. What our word cannot show, however, is our integrity. Oh, somebody's coming again. Our actions are what prove or disprove our integrity. When our actions are in alignment with our mindset, then we have integrity. It's important to integrate our behavior with our word and values, but the word and values alone aren't enough to quantify our level of integrity. We can say we're anything, but that doesn't make it true. I can tell someone I'm being honest, but that alone could be a lie. Our honest actions integrated with our mindset are what will decide whether or not we have integrity. As I've grown up, my dad's integrity game brand has grown up too. I've sat in the back of the room for a few of his keynotes where I've heard him talk about what integrity truly means, to integrate. This book is integration, the integration of my dad's knowledge with my experiences, all in writing. I used to not understand what integrity meant, being too young to even question what my purpose could be. Through writing alongside with him, our talks at the dinner table where we work on the book, and reading through all of his KloobySnacks, I've learned a lot about what integrity means. The integration of two things: mindset and action, behavior and word, and even between fathers and daughters.
Yeah. So I had a hard time reading that one a couple weeks ago. I remember that was the one where I was tearing up. Yeah, go ahead.
I watched it. because I woke up the same minute that you got off of the stream, and I watched it. And I now I'm not choking up when I'm reading it, but as you were choking up, I was choking up too. I was like, dang it, he got me.
Well, you told me that you watched, but you didn't tell me that I got you. That
I wasn't
you were
gonna admit that.
Well, so yeah, cool. Thank you for sharing. That's pretty good. Yeah,
because this is one of the ones. This is one of the ones where I don't vividly remember actually writing, because there's a few that I can tell you exactly where I was when I wrote it. I can tell you exactly where I read it to you the first time, or yada yada. But there's other ones that when I was just on a roll for a little bit, and this is one of the ones I can tell you right now that was when I was really, we're trying to get all of these out. It was a week a weekend or something where we really got a lot of them done. And this is one of those. So when I watched you reading this, it surprised me as you were reading it, and it got me. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
I was. I remember I was in Puerto Rico, and I was afraid to go to sleep because I didn't want to sleep through the alarm. Right, so we were celebrating Troy Hoffman's 50th birthday party, black tie event in Puerto Rico. It was a really fun night, a really great celebration, really great conversation. I was hanging out with my new professional best friend, whose name happens to be Jeff. Also, he coaches dentists in Texas. And I ended up running up to my hotel room and getting a copy of KloobySnacks and bringing it down and giving it to him. And we were at the bar, having drinks late night after the 50th birthday party, talking about KloobySnacks and reading KloobySnacks. And I couldn't wait to get on with you. And then the sun was rising. And I don't know if I sent you the pictures of me looking out my window, overlooking the beach and the sunrise coming up in Puerto Rico. It was beautiful. And so I was fatigued and feeling, really feeling my love for you. And then when you slept through your alarm and couldn't make it on, and I had to read your part, I couldn't help. I got tearful. I got, when you talk about, integration between fathers and daughters, and, it's just, this is a fun part. Because here's the thing, ends up being the last section of the book. We're in the stretch run, but I believe that you wrote your responses to this section sooner. You didn't write these last, you know what I mean?
Some of them were.
Oh, excuse me. I've been battling a cold. I've been sneezing and blowing my nose for the last 2 days straight.
There's a black mold infestation in the dorms. Everybody's sick right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's awful. But it's not awful. I love it here. But what was I gonna say? Oh, I was just gonna say that kudos to me. I really liked my response to this. And I really like the ones where it's I can hear a lot of your influence through what I was writing, indirectly, obviously, because my everything I know about integrity, my definition of integrity comes through what I've learned and heard from you. So this is one of the ones where I read it and I'm even though it's my writing, but it's your knowledge, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's. It's interesting that you bring that up, because I've felt that way about other snacks where I see what your writing is, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, she got that for me. Oh, that's my influence. Oh, that's a restating of our conversation. Or, oh, she asked for clarity and I explained what I meant, and it's showing up in the writing. But I haven't wanted to bring that up to take anything away from your writing.
No, it's not taking away, because even though even though this is the parts of it that are it's just my writing. It's my writing, but your knowledge, it's the passing down of the recipe book. It's all all of this is stuff that in some way or another I've gotten from you. So even though it is my writing, it's it's still us. But this is one of the ones where it's I read it, I'm yep, I recipe book is passed down. But then obviously I had to add my own thing at the end about the integration thing. I'm just really proud of myself for that last line. Through writing alongside him, our talks at the dinner table where we work on the book, and reading through all of his KloobySnacks, I've learned a lot about what integrity means. The integration of two things: mindset and action, behavior and word, and even between fathers and daughters.
That's the ending for number 40. Behavior is the evidence of our integrity. Yeah. So that's the first snack in this baker's dozen is number 40. Behavior is the evidence of our integrity. And then last week, honesty is a strategy, a lie is a tactic. And this week, accountability will always feel like an attack. And this is heavy, right? It's it's just amazing, because the shift for me, and then I'm going to get into last call as we wrap things up. But like the shift for me, like it's clear in your writing that we went from all of these lessons that I have for you. Like, here I am, a dad. I just want you to know. I want to pass down this knowledge. But even the effort to pass down the knowledge is met with the resistance. So the shift from resisting not just our arguments if I might have been right and you might have been wrong in any given argument, but that's one thing. Like, like I expect you to have your dukes up when you're defending yourself on an issue. But then even like my efforts, like, hey, let me teach you this. Let me show you this. Let me make sure you know this. Let me make sure you know who I am. Let me make sure you know why people pay me to talk to me or to speak to audiences. Like, I've got, like, I'm not the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've got good stuff for you. And even those efforts trigger ego defense. So a lot of times we swat at a non-threat or we run from a non-threat just because we're spring-loaded to defend ourselves. That's what we're talking about. And so that shift from resisting what I have to teach or resisting or, digging in the heels and never giving in on any little argument or not giving me credit for anything or not justifying my perspectives, the shift from that to where you are now is incredibly rewarding for me, right, as a dad. And it's one of the reasons that it's so easy to not be sad that you're gone. Like, we're so proud of you, Abby. We're so enamored with what you're doing with your life. Like, I looked at your mom the other day and I'm like, we did it. We raised a daughter who, you don't have a lot of the baggage that I have or a lot of the issues that mom has or the issues that we have, like you're positioned to do better than us. You're positioned to take this family and our dynamic and our love to new and next levels. Like, we have to stay in touch with you. We have to stay supportive of you, but we don't have to worry about you, in ways that we did before. It's just an incredible place to be in. And I say that in segue to say this: we get to see you this week. Thursday. We're gonna a couple days away. Yeah, Thursday morning. So when we're done with the live stream, I'd like to talk with you about that. It doesn't have to be part of the live stream, but I want to kind of, after we finish the live stream tonight, maybe we can spend a couple of minutes talking about the lay of the land in terms of what's going to be happening. But let me go ahead and move into last call for the purposes of the live stream, because I'm battling the cold and I wanted to keep it to 30 minutes anyway. It's great to have you back, by the way. We're going to sprint to the finish line. We got like 10 more weeks of the year, first of all, of the book of the year. I also wanted to tell you about my idea for KloobySnack's Volume 2. I don't know if we have enough time to pull it off for January, but I've got a pretty good idea. Anyway, last call. Comments, questions, jokes, riddles. Last call. Charlie, you got anything for us? Any comments or questions before we wrap up for tonight?
Hola, Abby.
Hi.
Good to see you again. We missed you last week.
Thank you.
¿Hablas español?
No. One day.
He knows you were in Spain.
Yeah, I was really working on my Spanish. I was trying.
Okay. How was it? Was it good?
Yeah, it was so fun. And I've never been, but I do want to go back.
No, that's nice. That's nice. Just back to this snack, Coach Jeff and Abby. Ironically, a couple of weeks ago, there was something I had to address with a friend. And he got upset. It was nothing serious, though, but he got upset when I mentioned it to him. He says, like, no, this is the situation. You just have to check it. And the guy just got upset about it.
Yeah.
And the other friend was saying, why is this guy upset with you? And I said, look, if there's something, if you are actually a friend, and I am afraid to address something with you because you're going to get mad or be cross, then I don't think you're really my friend. You see, the thing is, sometimes, again, a lot of the elements of the KloobySnacks in this section do come up, that it's either ego defense, taking a responsibility, being accountable, it all just packages all in one. So when I read the snack, I just reflect onto him to say, like, look, dude, if you're not wanting to be held accountable, or if anybody doesn't want to be held accountable, they are going to, feel like you are attacking them, yeah?
Yeah, well, I appreciate the comment here. Here's the irony of it. We didn't get into it, but what you've offered here, Charlie, it provokes me to say this. When we read this snack, when we read it, it's easy for us to think about the person who's not ready to take responsibility. It's easy to like, hey, you're not taking responsibility, so of course this feels like an attack, and you have the problem because you are not ready to take responsibility. Well, the unspoken part of this, the other part of this KloobySnack that I would encourage all of us to embrace is we should not, and I don't like using the word should, but we might want to be careful about holding people accountable. And when I mean being careful, I would say it this way. We really can't hold anybody accountable without their permission. So it's not just the person that isn't taking responsibility, but if we want to hold them accountable, we have to find a way to get their permission, and then it becomes a little bit easier. Then the upset might get diffused.
No, Coach. What I meant is, let me give you a hypothetical. Let us say there's something that I am doing that you're not comfortable with. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's going to make you fear to tell me that, Charlie, I'm not happy with this, would it be holding me accountable?
I don't, just the way that you describe the scenario, I don't see it that way.
Good. So
yeah.
The point I was making here is that slight level of accountability when it feels like it's an attack. Because if you said to me, Charlie, I don't like you, I don't like that, what you are doing, or you having done ABC, that little level of the sense of you holding me accountable for my wrongdoing is going to make me feel that you are attacking me.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking responsibility for whatever I've done that could have maybe offended you or had you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think that what's missing there is a commitment up front, right? So if the person's saying, hey, I'm committed to never doing anything that bothers you, and then they do something that bothers you, then you say something, you'd be holding them accountable to the commitment. But without a prior commitment, it's not accountability, it's just sharing your feelings at whatever risk. You're saying, hey, can I share with you how the behavior is making me feel, and put you in a position to understand that and make a switch, So I still think it comes down to like securing permission to let people know how we feel about things, but it's gray area stuff, and that's why we talk about it, and that's why we have conversations. But here we are. We're a little bit past 8:30. I was hoping to wrap up. Any final questions or comments before we dismiss for tonight?
No, not really, Coach. I just enjoyed the snack, and Abby's insights on it as well, the way she actually explained it. And it kind of ties in quite a lot with what I just said, because it comes into some arguments.
Confrontation. This is, it comes, there's a snack earlier in the book, Charlie, like, I forget the number, but I think I'm looking for it right now.
I remember which one it is.
I think it's in the loving flavor. Let me just look real quick, and then we'll wrap up. Yeah, number 3. If it were up to me, it would be called profrontation instead of confrontation. So what you're talking about is you're confronting. You may want to do it positively, lovingly, but if somebody doesn't want to be held doesn't want to account for their own behavior, yeah, they could get upset. But I don't know if they call it accountability though without a prior commitment. That's all. Listen, I'd love to let's unpack it a little further if we need to next week. I got to blow my nose real quick because I'm battling this cold. Abby, any last comments or questions from you before we dismiss?
No.
All right. Well, it's nice to have you back. I'm really glad that you got to go to Spain. That's just so exciting. You're totally living the life, Abby, and I can't wait to see you this week. And I hope you're going to stay up for a little bit because I want to give you a call and talk about this coming Thursday when I fly into town. But I want to go ahead and end the live stream, end this installment of KloobySnacks. This is number 42. Accountability will always feel like an attack when we're not ready to be 100% responsible for our own behavior. And we're going to go carry on next week with number 43. Yeah. Wow, I can't believe it. I'm going to see you in a couple of days. Super exciting. Charlie, thanks for joining in as always. Abby, I'll see you in a couple of days, but I'm going to call you sooner, okay?
Good
night, everyone.
Good, Jeff, and get well soon, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you. It's just a little cold. Thanks, everyone.
Right, Jeff. Bye-bye.